So today we're going to focus on the interview scheduler tool that has been updated quite a lot. So I have an example project here with some applicants, and today we're going to try out all the three types that we now have under the scheduler tool, and we're going to play them out one by one. So let's say that I have an applicant here under the video call, and I would like to arrange a interview with this applicant. In addition, I have actually included my hiring manager, Rando, here as a project member. So I will include him to the interviews as well. So first of all, let's try out our first option to use the scheduler. I can select the candidates. Of course, you can select multiple candidates as well, and click schedule interviews. Now, even if you are familiar with the tool before, I think the view here is new to everyone. So you have basically three steps now: the participants, time selection, and invitation details. Now, the first step, called participants, is quite automatically filled by Teamdash. The interview title comes from the project name. So, of course, we assume that the project name might be internal and informal, so you can edit it when needed. You can add more participants to the list of recruiters. So you can be here yourself, you can add your hiring managers. Now here in my example, I'm going to remove actually myself and just arrange a video call between my manager and between my candidate. Teamdash always by default offers that this interview can be arranged as a video call. So if this is not the case and actually you're inviting the candidates on site or to your office, then you can turn this off, but I will leave it on for now. So let's move on to the next step. Now, I assume that this view is rather new, and what's the biggest update is that we have now different scheduling types available. So we're going to do all three of them as specific slots anytime when available and pre-scheduled. So let's do the specific slots as the first one. So you can see I have my calendar table here, and I can set my interview length. So for example, in my example, I had a video call stage. So I think maybe 30 minutes is just about enough. You can choose the calendar time. So from where and until what time can you arrange the video calls? So I do hope your working hours are not that long, but you can customize this here. And you can see that I have my hiring manager's calendar visible here in the calendar table. Now this is available via the Microsoft Calendar integration. So we have a lot of Microsoft integrations available for Microsoft users. And this enables me to view my manager's calendar inside Teamdash. So I can quickly see that, for example, my manager is available tomorrow at 2 p.m., at 3 p.m. So I can choose some specific slots and offer them to the applicant. I know the scheduler with specific slots is quite strict, and you can really have full control over what time slots do you want to offer to the candidates. It's a bit manual too, but you can still have like full control. If, for example, the project may be time critical and you want to be sure that the hiring manager is fully engaged and aware of the time slots that you send. Because in addition, with the Microsoft integration, these free slots that you offer to the applicant can be booked right away as tentative events for your manager's calendar. So here we have the minimum requirements accomplished. I can click next, and here I can just compose my email invitation. So here under my instance, I have some templates already prepared. So the email content is composed in a way that you can compose a letter inviting the candidate to an interview. And the interview invitation will include a merge tag called invite URL. So this is a required element inside your email that must be included. And this is where the candidate can choose a suitable time. So of course, if needed, you can read more about how you can send these interview invites as text messages. If needed, you can add attachments. You can create templates as you go along. But basically, I can now send out my invitation. So you can see that already my applicant here has a yellow calendar icon indicating that I have sent out an invitation. And if I now move on to my applicant's inbox that I have prepared here on the side, you can see that the candidate already received an interview invitation. And the merge tag called invite URL is now a unique link inside the candidate's inbox. So when the candidate clicks on the link, they can see the free time slots as a very strict selection of specified times in a list, and they can just choose a suitable one, select it, and confirm. So this is the flow from the candidate view. Every time a candidate books a time, they will see this automated confirmation view, and after the time has been confirmed, Teamdash will automatically generate a video call link as well if the feature was enabled. And you can see I have really integrated my Teamdash account with my Outlook account. And for example, I have turned on that all the video call links are automatically generated to the Teams application. So that's one use case for the interview scheduler tool using the specific time slots. And the first option is, of course, very useful if you are conducting group interviews, because when you are choosing the specific time slots option or scheduling type, then you can always set the number of participants or candidates. You can see that, for example, I will just slide the time to an hour, and I can select how many candidates can actually book the time. So if you are doing group interviews for your project, then this is possible via the specific slot scheduling type. And then this just means that this time slot will stay open until up to 5 candidates have confirmed that specific time, and then it will close off for other candidates. Okay, maybe I would just move back to the previous stage, and I will show you the next option or the next type. I will add actually now myself as well as the recruiter. And let's choose the new scheduling type called Anytime When Available. Now, this is something really new here in Teamdash, and I hope it will really open up the options how to benefit from the scheduling tool. If you have maybe used Calendly before, then the flow is a bit similar to the logic of Calendly, that you don't have to book very specific or strict time slots for your managers and candidates, but instead you can set up like an available calendar that the candidates can have access to. So first of all, you can choose the available period. So let's say that maybe it's a continuous project, and I would like that the candidates arrange their interviews during the next 3 weeks. So I can set the period for a longer time. So here you can see that Teamdash automatically offers you that the candidates can book a time for work days. Now, let's say you want to narrow it down, you can exclude Fridays. Maybe you want to have some more focus time, and maybe Wednesdays are full of internal meetings, so we can switch that off as well. And you can choose the available start and ending times. So personally, for me, 9 a.m. is way too early. I will push it up to 10, and you can choose the ending time as well. So if it is, in my example, 5 p.m., then this means that the last interview will end by 5. Again, you can set up the interview length. So for me, maybe for the video call stage, 30 minutes is enough. You can specify your time zone and click next. Again, you will can send out the email invitation. So again, I have my template already prepared. So this flow is quite similar. The candidate will receive a link for confirming a suitable interview time. Now, when I send out this invitation, I will just quickly go back to my candidate's mailbox. So we have a new, we have the calendar confirmation for the previous test we made. And now I have a new calendar invite with a new link which is now set up with any time and available scheduling type. And when the candidate opens this view, you can see it's rather different. The candidate can see an available period. So they know that, for example, they can choose the interview to be somewhere for the first week of October between 10 and 5. The interview length is 30 minutes. And instead of a very specific list of clear time slots, they can actually see my calendar view. And the unavailable time slots are added here automatically from my calendar and from my manager's calendar. So the link is actually constantly updated via the calendar integration. And it will update it itself by synchronizing it with your own calendar, with your manager calendar. So everyone who were set in the participants list as interviewers, so these calendars are just kind of like visible here in a joint manner. And so the applicant can choose between the time slots that are free for all interviewers. So as you understand, it's much more automated. It's maybe much more easier to use when you have multiple projects where you have to maybe cooperate with many different hiring managers. And so this is, of course, a lot more easier because you don't have to manage the time slots one by one. And it's a lot more automated way to give out the interview time choosing for the candidates. And of course, the candidate can only choose one time. So for example, if I mistakenly choose Tuesday at 1 p.m., the candidate can remove the slot and select a different type. And of course, it's quite intuitive, so the candidate can actually drag this on the table as well where needed. So the candidate can click schedule interview. And again, the candidate will see a familiar confirmation view. And of course, I didn't mention before, but each time a calendar confirms an interview time, no matter what the type was chosen, then all participants will get this automated calendar invite to their email as well. So it doesn't matter what kind of a web service the candidates are using, whether it's Outlook, Gmail, or any other, and then they can still add this event to their personal calendars and always quickly access the video call link as well. Now, going back to the project view, we have one more type we haven't looked at. It's called the pre-scheduled type of an interview. So again, I can select my candidate, click schedule interviews. Now again, I will switch myself to Rando, and let's arrange an interview between my manager and my candidate. Click next. And so the third type, called pre-scheduled, gives you the option that if you have an interview agreement made outside of Teamdash, then this still allows you to bring over the event into your Teamdash dashboard. So we know life happens. Sometimes you make a phone call with a candidate and things get going, and maybe you find a mutually suitable time during the phone call. And then you have already basically agreed on a suitable time. The candidate is already aware that you're meeting, for example, tomorrow at 2 p.m. So basically, the pre-scheduled type gives you the option that you can skip the step of generating a link to the interview. You can skip the part where you send out an email invitation, like, hi, please choose an interview time. You have already done it outside Teamdash. So you can just use the pre-scheduled type, select here maybe the already agreed time. So maybe you already agreed that let's meet on Monday at 11 a.m. Well, I will drag this in place. So you can just send the calendar invitation. So basically you can skip the scheduling and the arranging part and just add it to the Teamdash calendar, and you will still have like all the information in one place on the candidate profile under the Teamdash calendar menu, and so you can conveniently bring over the agreements made outside. So these are basically the three different types we now have under the interview scheduler tool. So all of them have their own pluses. So the specific slots are very clear, strict, maybe for time critical interview times and for group interviews. So the anytime when available is a lot more automated way how you can make your calendar available and include your manager's calendars into it as well. And the pre-scheduled type allows you to bring over agreements made outside of Teamdash. Now we have taken a look how to arrange the interviews, but I guess a very common use case is that you have a new applicant who is suitable. You would like to arrange a video call with a new applicant who has made to the next stage. And so the question is how to include them into the interview. So the start is the same. You can select the candidate, click schedule interviews. But instead of starting the flow all over again, Teamdash actually already recognizes that you have created an interview invite for this project. So today we have actually already created 3 different interview invites for the same project. So Teamdash will list you the invites that are active and open for this project. So we can see we have the slots, the range, the pre-scheduled. Now let's say that I would like to add this candidate to the anytime available invitation. So I can choose it from here. I can just quickly review the details. Who are the participants, the candidate who I'm adding under the same invite. I can click next. If needed, I can make adjustments to my already existing link. If not, I can just click next. I can review the message that will go out to the new candidate and save changes. So now the new candidate received the invitation to confirm an interview time. And if I now go to the calendar menu, which is the place that will gather all your interview invites and scheduling activities, you can see that Hendrik was just added to my already existing interview invite. So Hendrik is now under the invite pending column, even though, for example, yes, I have Trine who has accepted all my invitations already. So yes, the calendar menu is a good place where you can get like a wholesome overview of the interviews you have scheduled, what are still open or pending. You can see the open slots as gray areas here on the calendar table. And the green slots are confirmed bookings by the candidates. So here you can just always click on the green box, see who is coming to the interview, quickly review the maybe basic information, CV, comments. If needed, you can cancel the interview from here as well. So if anything happens, you can remove the event. If needed, you can reschedule the interview time as well. And if you cancel the event or reschedule, then Teamdash will automatically send out calendar updates to all participants as well. So you don't have to worry that anyone will have outdated information on their calendars. And now, as I've already mentioned multiple times, we have the Microsoft Calendar integration available. And if you're using it, you can actually use the Outlook Room Finder via Teamdash as well. So you can actually assign your company's meeting room to the upcoming interview as well. Now, maybe a very frequently asked question is also that how can you maybe edit the times that you have sent out to the candidates? So maybe you can see also in my invites that I have these open slots here, and maybe I already know that I have no one else coming, and I would like to remove them and kind of free up those time slots. Or maybe just something happens and I know that Thursday at 4 p.m. I am just not available. So I would really like that candidates cannot book that time slot. Then actually you can always scroll down to the interviews list. And behind the interview titles, you can always see a button called Edit. So if I go to the Edit view, you will actually see the scheduling flow again. You can just click Next via the Edit view. And actually you can remove and manage the times that are active inside the link. So if you see a blue open slot, you are able to remove it under the link that is sent to the candidates. And of course, you can see the Teamdash gives you a little hint as well if the candidates and slots are balanced. So currently, since I only had one candidate, all is good. But for example, if you see that this notification turns red, then you know that you have 2 little slots for the selected candidates. And so you can always like edit the link and maybe just add more free times for next week. And if you click next, of course, then you can actually review and edit the email invitation for future candidates as well, and save changes. Now, if I save these new changes via the edit button, then Teamdash will not send out any emails to the existing candidates, but the link that is available for pending candidates under their inbox is just automatically updated in real life. So you still have control over what time slots can be chosen by the candidates who have already received your invitation and invite URL. Yes, now, as I've mentioned several times, the Microsoft integration topic, then I will just quickly show you how you can add this to your Teamdash instance as well, if you haven't done it so far. So under here, you can find a menu called integrations. So of course, under here in my test environment, you can see that I have a lot of different integrations already in place. And I have done all the available Microsoft integrations as well. You can see that I have Teams, calls. I'm synchronizing my emails between my Teamdash instance and between my Outlook inbox. And I have the Outlook calendar integration as well. So this is the one that we have been talking about the most today. And actually adding integrations is really easy for Microsoft integrations. You can just click Add New Integration, select the type to be MS Calendar Schedule. The integration name is available, is just visible for you here inside Teamdash. So I have just named it Outlook Calendar. And this must be a private integration. So you can just switch this on, because this is just necessary because it's integrated with your private Outlook email. And if you click Save, then you will just open up this automatic Microsoft authentication flow. So we can just confirm the email that you're linking your Teamdash account with. And basically, since I have already read through the requirements and other details, it just really quickly runs me through the flow and then navigates me back to the integration view. If you are saving this integration for the first time, and then there might be a little step where we need your Microsoft admin's permission to get access, but usually it's very simple and easy steps. A little communication has to be done maybe inside your organization, but it really depends on what permissions you currently have in your Microsoft settings. So yes, I hope that you can all add these integrations under your account as well, and you can really benefit from integrating your Microsoft and Teamdash accounts. Yes, and in addition, one more thing, if we're here, you can see the organization settings. Here is a tab called Project. And if you scroll a bit down, you can see an option that if you're using Interview Scheduler tool, and for example, you are using the specific time slots type of scheduling, then here you can activate that you want to send out tentative scheduler time slots to interviewers. So if you turn this on, save your preference, then this means that if you're scheduling an interview and, for example, offering the candidate some specific time slots and adding your hiring manager into the recruiter's field as well, then your hiring manager will automatically get tentative event bookings for the open time slots. So you can really make sure that you have already proposed these time slots out for the candidates, and then your hiring manager doesn't book anything else for these times already. Okay, I think I have run through all of the functionalities. So let's see if maybe you have had any questions as well. So I will disable my screen sharing. So let's see. I see that my colleague Maria has shared actually the article as well from our help center. So you can add these integrations yourself as well. These are very step-by-step tutorials, and you can always ask further help if needed. So do you have any other questions maybe, or any flows that I can show you during the session today? Okay, the chat seems quite quiet. So I do hope Yes, I see Laura is typing something. So let's see, you can really think if any of the flows didn't or seemed a bit confusing. You can just give me a sign and I can maybe clarify anything. Okay, it's good to hear if everything made sense. And of course, if you are starting to use the interview scheduler tool or you're adding the integrations as you go along, then always feel free to to ask help. We have the chat window available to everyone, no matter the user role. So if your managers have any questions, they can write to us as well. And we are always gladly helping you as you go along. Okay, see Dana is typing something as well, so let's see if it's a question. Okay. Thank you very much as well. It was a real pleasure hosting this kind of a product update session. So I hope we can do this again in the future. And if you have maybe any specific preferences on what topic would you like to get maybe future live sessions on, then please feel free to share your feedback and we will happily arrange a new live session on features in Teamdash. Okay, but thank you and see you soon.